Hey, my goodness. Good morning, Seaside. Woo, what a joy it is to be here with you today. These guys are fabulous, aren't they? You got Paul on the drums, Harley on the bass, Max on the Paul Lloyd Warner piano, and we have got Bob leading that pack for more than 25 years there. Great job. We are just really blessed. I'm grateful and appreciative. So, how's it going? You enjoying this little fall breeze, this little nip in the air, little mist that's coming down? I had my windshield wipers on this morning. Actually, I had to put the top up on my car. Had myself convinced we were experiencing autumn. Yeah. Oh, wow. So anyway, it's a joy to be with you in this wonderful fall day and in the midst of this wonderful journey that we are on with King Arthur and all the knights of the round table. And Ginny, I don't know if Ginny's still around, but it's Ginny and Dennis were here before 6:30 this morning creating this altar. And I've never done a talk with a knight in shining armor before. But definitely, he and I got it going on. Wait till you see what's up. But I'll tell you what, who did help with that is Dennis. Dennis Mills is our practitioner today that is holding the light. And he is the chalice carrier. He is one who sits in our prayer center and just absolutely is there to be a conduit for Spirit to move through, sitting there without the judgment, expectation, just sitting there and noticing the presence of God, and it's in that realization there, light shines bright from that corner. So symbolically, there is the candle there, and that is going on. And I trust this journey is going on for you at a real level in your life, King Arthur and the Knights, and today we're going to take a look at Percival and the Galahad and all those seekers of the Holy Grail as we go on the quest, symbolic of our life, seeking that connection with that Spirit. And so I'm glad your quest has brought you here. The fact that you are here just states real loudly and profoundly that God, I am available, I am open, and I'm willing to receive because that you're here says that community is valuable to you. These days you can watch this stuff online all the time. Go ahead and check in. Let all your people stay in home know that you're here and what's going on, and they can watch us live. But I'll tell you what you can't get through the internet is community, is the camaraderie, is this kind of connection, is this kind of vibe and this feeling. And so being here makes a difference. So pull out your phone where most places tell you put it away. I'm telling you, pull it out, check in, let people know that you're hanging out at a hot spot with great singing, great prayer, with powerful message that is about to unfold. And just truly, they can watch it live streaming. Just go to the Seaside website, and that's available. But I'll tell you what's available right now, which isn't, is to be able to stand up and just see that person next to you, look into their eyes and say, hey, I appreciate that you're here. Nice to meet you. Love you.
Everybody, let's all stay standing while we sing together this morning. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. All right, joy. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Peace gives me everything I need. One more time. Peace gives me everything I need.
Let's get to that place of peace. What a key to it all. To help get us there is a wonderful practitioner here at Seaside. A new practitioner at Seaside has just been licensed in the last month or two. We have watched her grow and expand in her level of confidence and self-expression. Welcome for the first time officially as a practitioner, praying us all in, and this is Raima.
So join me in the stillness. Feeling and sensing the presence of God right here, right now. Penetrating through every cell of my being. And knowing that every single individual in this room is one with God. And that the presence of God envelopes this entire sacred space. And that everything that needs to be said is said. And anything that needs to be heard is heard. And that as this service continues, that the divine simply penetrates through each one of us with its grace, love, beauty, joy, abundance, and perfection. And with this, I allow.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know that you are. Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know. Be still and know that we are God. Be still and know that we are. Be still and know that we are God. Be still and know.
Thank you. Good morning, Seaside. My name is Kim Jarrett Whittington, and I am a practitioner here and a ministerial student in my senior year of studies. Yes, woohoo, thank you. I actually have class this weekend, so it is a big woohoo, and it's been really fun. It's been literally all weekend long, so I'm immersed in it right now. But I wanted to welcome you. If any of you have joined us here for the very first time, I'd just love to tell you a little bit about our community. Seaside is a community. We celebrate the growth and expansion of our souls, of our lives, and we're really here just to create something dynamic and amazing in who and what we are and what we've come here to do on this earth. And so if that resonates with you, we would love for you to sign up. We have, this is actually New Member Week. And we have our new members luncheon next weekend. But even if you just wanted to get some information, we have a welcome packet that has a CD, and it has a card that you can fill out so that you can get emails and information about what's happening here. There's so many wonderful events. There's education. There's all kinds of great things happening here every Sunday and every week. So we are really welcome you being here today. I also wanted to just take a minute and share with you that Kat, Leslie, and I have the Wednesday night power-up service now, and so we have an incredible opportunity for you to join us on Wednesday evenings from 7 to 8 o'clock. And at the power-up service, it's a little bit different in that you get to interact with us. So we get to talk and give a message, and we have wonderful music. But in addition to that, there is this actual wonderful exchange of energy, so you can ask questions, and it's very interactive. So we really hope that if you want that midweek pick-me-up, come out and see us. This week, Leslie's speaking. The 8th, I'm speaking. And then the following week, Rosedale's speaking. So you got lots of wonderful people here to love and support you through your week. And with that, I wanted to invite Sandy Atkinson up. She is going to share a brief couple minutes with us on some wonderful new service opportunities. Yay, you can clap for her.
Thank you. It's actually an old service opportunity that we've had here at Seaside for about 15 years. It's participating in our Interfaith Shelter Network. How many of you have participated in that in the past? Lots of you, I'm sure. There's many ways that you can participate. And what we do is we provide housing for about 14 individuals who have recently lost their housing. And these are people that could be our neighbors. They are people that we've had school teachers, people with master's degrees, just all kinds of lovely, lovely people that had fallen on an unfortunate time. It could be due to losing jobs, medical problems, just a vast array of issues that could happen to any one of us. So what we do is we provide a safe environment for people, and we ask some of you to provide dinner for our people, and then we get that shared with all the people that are there, and you come and you have dinner, and it's a lovely time to just break bread together. Then also we need people to spend the night, and the coordinators are there. One of us is there throughout the evening to get everybody settled and feel comfortable, and it's a chance just to really get to know these people and just make them feel comfortable. And Sunny is our coordinator of people and supplies that we need, so I'll let her take a second to share us in on that.
So we provide breakfast and lunch. They make their breakfast in the morning, and then they make a sack lunch of some type, and then we also provide the dinners. Online, I have something called Sign Up Genius, and I've already got people who've signed up. It's really exciting. We'd like to get more new people involved. If you can stop in the back and give me your phone number and email and you're interested, I can send you the various volunteer opportunities. We need everything from tote bags that are reusable for their lunches to, I don't know, bread to make sandwiches, lunch meat, that type of thing. So it's a wonderful thing to do and really makes a difference to me. This is how I serve God, is by serving my fellow person out there. And I feel really connected when I'm doing that. So I ask you to join me in that joy.
And the weeks that we're doing, it's December 10th through 17th.
Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, you can go ahead and clap for that. Beautiful. All right, and with that, let's go into prayer. Just sitting in this space of oneness, this divine energy that we call God, Spirit, Universe, Mother Earth. It is that essence, that presence, that omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. It is everywhere, always. This essence of God is the light, the love, that dynamic energy that we feel between each other, that space, that endless space between our breath. I know that I am divinely connected to this beautiful source, that my energy is it, and I am living this life in all of my glory as the divine representation of spirit. And what I know for myself, I know for each and every person that is here today, that is online with us, and that is on their way. For we are that beautiful essence of God. And so in this moment, I claim that this service is filled with so much love and energy, that it is vibrating on a different level, and that we are connected to it. That we can hear that beautiful divine message of wisdom from Reverend Christian as he gives us his truth, his expression, his life, as he speaks to us into our souls. I know and I claim that the music is absolutely brilliant, and that there is an energy and a vibration in this space when our souls connect to the musical notes of the band and of the singers. And so I just claim that this day in community is one of love and it is one of joy, and that we get to celebrate our life right in this moment. And with that, I just release it in the utmost of gratitude, knowing that I am so incredibly grateful for an opportunity to be with all of you and with God. And I release it, let it go, and so it is.
Well, once again, good morning, everybody. We have a returning guest artist today. She is a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles. You will find her singing in Los Angeles, Orange County, and all over the valley. She has recently sung the national anthem at Dodger Stadium and the Staples Center, so we are super excited to have her here this morning. She believes that practicing science of mind has contributed so much to her success, and through that success, she is now working on her debut album. We're so happy to have you here. Please, everybody, welcome Rain Bizu.
How are you guys feeling today? Well, I am extremely happy to be here again with all of you. And I got this song, it's just for you guys. It might be crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you could take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that can go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Yeah. Well, give me all you got and don't hold back. Yeah, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. Yeah. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Bring it down. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. My love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. My love is too good. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. My love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. 'Cause I'm out alone. Yeah, get it. Because I'm because I'm, yeah, because I'm, oh, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm, clap
And that is Rain. Bisou. Thank you. From driving on down from LA this morning to be here with us. So, man, happy. Now, that's how it felt in Camelot when they were peaking. You know, they were just having a great time, feeling the wonder of life and the joy of being. There was peace, there was happiness, there was celebration, there was feasting. Everything was good. And so why do you want to search for anything else? And that begins to be the challenge there. And so, so now that you're happy, now what? I used to do workshops based on that premise coming into it. Now that you're happy, now what? And so Camelot, as we spoke about last week, was that idyllic state. We were paying tribute to the good that was in our life, and it's important to do that. But what's also important is not to get too comfortable where you stop growing and stretching. And what tends to happen sometimes is your life gets stirred up to allow you to begin to look outside of your present place of comfort and well-being. And so we symbolically go in search of the Holy Grail. You know, and the Holy Grail, gosh, I've never held it before. I've been looking my whole life. Jenny, this is fabulous. You should see what's in here. Actually, what's supposed to be in the Holy Grail is the blood of Jesus. You know, Joseph Arimathea was, according to the four Gospels, the guy who took care of Jesus' body after he came down from the cross. So I guess he swiped the Grail while he was at it. You know, the Last Supper is the cup he drank out of, and supposedly, or the story goes, that the chalice is that which held the blood or the life force of Jesus. They also talked about the chalice being his mother, Mom, Mary, you know, the Blessed Mary, because she also was the container of the blood of Jesus. So that was an interesting piece to it. And what's also fascinating, my favorite book, as I shared with you last week, is The Mists of Avalon. And the main differences, or what was brought to it that was new, that embellished, enhanced, was about the divine feminine and the goddess energy that kind of ruled the planet and directed people, and everyone was in touch with the nature and the seasons and the rhythm of life. And then came Christianity, and that was Arthur. He was the one who was bridging the two of those. And but the way The Mists of Avalon ends, and the movie ends also, and so this is a spoiler alert if you're reading the book, you know, But anyway, so Christianity wins out, as we know, because we're still doing that Christian thing. And the last lady of the lake, Morgane, you know, just lost it all, devastated and everything like that. And she's walking through the castle of Glastonbury, or the covenant there of the nuns, and she's moping that the goddess has been put away. And she looked and she noticed all the nuns kneeling and praying before the statue of the Blessed Mother Mary. And what she realized is that the goddess didn't die, just changed forms. And it's a very powerful message, because in our life, sometimes that which we were looking for to be expressing in the joy and the happiness, or the goddess, or the life force, or the God presence, hasn't gone away. It has just changed forms. But when we get so caught up in our place and we're just so happy, or we're not happy, or whatever, we're in a place, we're forgetting that, you know what, the presence of God is there. That father-mother expression, that life force is ever present. And so when people go in search of that Holy Grail, what they're really going in search for is God. I mean, that is really the symbolism. When you start searching for the Holy Grail, which has been depicted as the cup, the chalice, in the Celtic beliefs, it was a cauldron. In the Orphic, the Greek days, it was a cup. The oracle of Delphi would drink out of the cup and then start spacing out and bringing forth the message. And so what's important to realize is that the symbology is that out of this cauldron, this cup, this plate, this bowl, comes a new life, a new energy, and a new possibility. You can't get stuck in the way it was. You've got to be open to the evolution, the emergence, and the presence of God that's showing up today in this 21st century in a way that is different than it was 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago. And yet it is the same God. It is the one God. It is the one infinite mind that is expressing itself in a relevant kind of way. And sometimes we've got to let go of the old way we've been looking for it. We got to begin to be shaken and go on a quest. And when things are going good, like they were in Camelot, all of a sudden they began to start and say, hey, you know, things aren't quite working the way they once did. What can I do? So they go in search of the Holy Grail, which supposedly Joseph of Arimathea brought it to Glastonbury. Glastonbury, it was in Somerset, England, and it's a hilltop. And there also at the bottom of the hill is the Chalice Well. And it was the symbolism of the monastery reaching up and the goddess well, the womb, receptive, where the water and the life and the creativity comes forth. And it is the balance, the masculine and the feminine. And so Joseph brought the Holy Grail there and started this new Christian order, or so the story goes, and through the chalice and the well. And the Chalice Well has run ever since. You can go there and visit it today, whether it's true, whether it's a metaphor. It's all up to your heart and your soul and your interpretation. But what I do know is true, that if you go in search of the chalice, which is in search of paradise, which is in search of that connectedness with that life force, there begins to be an opening or an invitation for the Spirit to break through. You got that? When you go in search of that which is holy, you have created an opportunity for a breakthrough, an invitation for that presence of God, because there is something inside of you that isn't content with just being okay. You know, there is part of you that was born with an aria inside of you that can electrify stadiums and won't be content singing jingles in a coffee house. You know, there's a message inside of me that wants to be delivered in the Coliseum. I can feel it stirring. You know, I don't want to play small and the mini me living in a dollhouse. I would rather go big and fail and live in the doghouse than a dollhouse, for sure, you know. We've got to be willing to go on that quest, that stirring of our soul, that place that invites the abundance and the opulence and the abundanza, as Gene Houston talks about, the abundanza, which is beyond abundance, to come into our life. I begin to be an opening because I'm searching for something greater. And it's a dream, as I've shared with you, those wild dreams. You don't choose your wild dreams, they choose you. And they begin to stir in your soul and point you on a path, on a quest, on a direction in which you begin to integrate the spirit, the masculine and the feminine into your life. You begin to be that place where heaven touches down in areas that are of concern and relevance to you. The abundant flow of God shows up. And if you're not living this, you heard me say, you're like a fish flopping on a pier trying to get back into the water. That's how much it hurts. You want more because you are more. You want to live this expanded expression, not from an egotistical place of you, though speaking in a coliseum might be, but you're doing it from a sense of integrity. You got that? You've got this bigger aspect of yourself that is it's just no longer content having your unfulfilled potential feel like it's caught in this claustrophobic experience, not being able to express itself when you know you've got more in you. That is what the quest for the Holy Grail does, is you're seeking Spirit to show up in your life in a new way, and you're going to encounter adventures that are going to stretch you beyond where you have been. And you're either going to go for it, or you're going to begin to fall back. You're going to begin to have things show up that challenge you and stretch you. So Arthur's sitting in his court, and they're all sitting around on Pentecost. Pentecost is the day, supposedly, that Jesus came down. I think it's 50 days after his crucifixion. He came back, and it was the beginning of the church, and it's a big celebration day. And so they're all sitting in Arthur's Camelot, celebrating, drinking, having a good time, maybe drinking too much, because all of a sudden, they got a crone in there telling Arthur, hey, guys, you got a problem there. They see this, like, chalice, these veils part, and they see the chalice floating in the sky, and there's been trouble in Camelot because all the beasts have been beaten back. And so I want to share with you from The Once and Future King, which is the story of Arthur by H.T. White, where he wrote, hey, did you guys get your bookmark? It's a gift for you. It's the chalice. It kind of has to do with today. But anyway, so the knights, first, their responsibility and their charge is to, accept a quest. That's part of their obligation to knighthood. When they get challenged to take on a quest, particularly from the king, they've got to say, yes, count me in. And they can't refuse the call for a quest. And so they're sitting around here, and it says, we've achieved what we're fighting for. And now we still have fighters on our hands. Don't you see what's happened here? We have run out of things to fight for. So all the fighters of the table are going rot. Look at Gawain and his brothers. While there were still giants and dragons and wicked knights of the old brigade, we could keep them occupied. We could keep them in order. But now that the ends have been achieved, there is nothing for them to do to use their might. So they used it on Pelennor and Lamorak. God bless those souls, and God be good to them. The first sign of festering was when the old chivalry turned into game mania. We got that going on today, a lot of gaming. But all of this nonsense about who has the best tilt average and so forth, kind of like baseball, the best average. This is the second sign, is when murder begins again. That is why I say, dear Merlin would want me to start another thinking now. If only he was here to help. It is something like idleness and luxury unmanning us. The strings have gone slack and are out of tune. I should have rooted out might altogether, although instead I didn't. Instead, we tried to adapt it. Though I don't know how the rooting out could have happened without it, that might is now left with nothing useful for it to do, so it is working in wicked channels for itself. Oh, I could keep reading this stuff. This is good. But this is the important part. I guess I should read this here. But so we have achieved boldly things of this world, peace and prosperity, but now we lack work. We have invented, if we were to invent another employment in our temporal employment, mere empire building or so forth like that, we shall face the same problem again, probably worse. And so it has been achieved. But why can't we pull the table together by turning our energies to spirit? You know what I mean by spirit? It is our might that has given us channels so that it can be worked on for God instead of for the rights of man. Surely that would stop the rot. You got that? Yeah, I think that's worth applauding. What happens is we've got this might, we've got this earthly intention, and once we achieve it, all of a sudden there's something that is missing, and that is the spiritual connection. You listen to these great motivational speakers that give you the rah-rah ABCs on how to create it, and you go and create it, and there's still something missing. It's because you're missing that spirit. You're missing that presence inside of you. And so Arthur, the classic aspect of the story is they have created this Camelot. They're so happy. We sang that. Things are going on. They were working. But there was something missing. And it is the spiritual connection. They have created the prosperity. They created the good. They created those earthly things. But there was something that was still missing there. And as you begin to search, you begin to feel, you begin to sense, you begin to know that there is more. As you begin to go to God for God, you got that? You go to God for God. You don't go to God for things. You go to God and you begin to experience it showing up in the things that are needed. You begin to see it showing up as the grace of God, the peace of God, the abundance of God, the love of God. But you got to go to Spirit on that search for that presence because there's something inside of you that is stirring. You go to God and all of a sudden the wonders begin to unfold in a way that is amazing that you knew not of. This week, I was flying home in the early a.m. before sunrise along the Canadian border heading into Seattle. And when I get on a plane, I am very particular about my seat. I like the left side aisle so my arm sticks out and I can write my talks. That's great. 36,000 feet, you get these great messages. But I got on the plane, and it's the early a.m., and they stick me on the right side against the window. I'm not pleased. But I'm thinking, you go to God for God, not for window seats or other seats. And so I let it go. And as we leveled off, over the loudspeaker, it says, those on the right side, look out your window now. You can see the northern lights. And I'd never seen them before. And there they were, lining the horizon, the sparkling green, as far as my eyes could see, with these rays shooting up into the heavens above it. I wasn't below it. I was like parallel with it, and it was going into the sky, and it was like the most spectacular gift. And I assure you, that's not what I was thinking I was looking for in that moment. I was looking for an aisle seat. But when you go on the quest because there's something stirring in your soul and say, God, I'm going. I don't know what for. Percival, He left his home, the sanctuary and the safety of his home, his overpossessive and protective mom, and to follow the knight because he wanted to work in King Arthur's kingdom in Camelot and castle, and didn't know what he was going for, but he went, and things unfolded where he became a knight because there was no one else who was going to fight at this particular battle. So he said he would. He got knighted, and then the knight came and fought it for him, so he didn't have to. But he was like this fool. It was just this, they called like the holy fool, like Moliness ridden, just kind of stumbling away. You ever seen that tarot card where the fool's about to step over the cliff, but is as happy as can be? Is totally unaware. That's Percival. He's just kind of stumbling around. And so they go on the quest for the Holy Grail, and here's Percival, one of the first guys just to stumble into the Grail castle with the Fisher King in there. And he's at this huge banquet, and it's just spectacular. And here comes this maiden carrying the Holy Grail across, and it brings it for people to have their drink, the food. And, Percival notices that this is what maybe all the knights are looking for. But he doesn't want to ask, because he was told by one of the knights, you don't want to ask too many questions because you look foolish that way. And so you ask too many questions, you look foolish, kind of hold it back. So he didn't say anything, and he went to sleep that night. And when he woke up, he was in a barren castle. And the land was barren. And that Fisher King, and he was called the Fisher King because he once put the fish in the cup and it fed thousands of people, kind of like Jesus. But the king was living in this suspended state with a wound for some reason, like the protection of the cup, and time just disappeared for him. But there was Percival out in the arid land, barren land, and it's like, what happened? Was it a dream? And he ran into a maiden out on the road, and he said, he was in the castle. She said, did you see the Grail? And he said, yeah. She's all excited. Did you ask the questions? And he said, no, I didn't want to look foolish. And he said, oh, you kidding me? You've got to ask the Grail questions. The Grail questions, there's 2 of them. You've got to be willing to ask these questions. You've got to be willing to look foolish on that. And the first question you've got to ask, Marv, we got up there, is, what is this? You got that? What is this I'm looking at here? That takes you beyond appearance. When you ask that question, it opens the portal that what is beyond appearance here? What is of the otherworldly? What is going on here? What needs to be known? What is this? Is it a message from God? Is it a dream? Is it an illusion? Is it a bunch of bull? Is it a revelation? Is there something in this chalice well I need to know? You've got to ask if what I'm looking at, is it God? Is it spirit? What is it? If you don't ask that, you're not going to get it. You've got to be willing to be foolish enough to say, what is it I'm looking at, God? Where are you here? What's going on? And then the next question is, who does it serve? And when he asked that, the king who had been taking care of that chalice was healed. That's how powerful that question. Does it serve that ego that does want to electrify stadiums? Or is it the spirit that wants to express because you want more, because you are more? There's something inside of you that is magnificent. That's why you go on these quests, is to bring forth the greater aspects of your being. What does it serve here? Does it serve God or does it serve me? Does it serve humanity or does it serve something else? So you got to remember to ask those questions when something appears to you that catches your eye, that's relevant. You're on this spiritual quest in life. What's going on in your world that has caught your eyes? You got to ask, what is this here? And who does it serve? What's going on in my life? What's going on in my world? Going on in my body? Going on in my relationship? What is this? You got to go beyond appearance. You got to go beyond the first thoughts that come to mind. And the thing about the Grail and the search of spirit, there's 3 approaches, and there's only 3 guys that ever made it to see the Grail. You'd think Lancelot, he was this great knight, that he would have made it, the best knight of them all. But he got to the castle and couldn't get in because of his adulterous relationship with the queen. And then Gawain, he almost made it there. He was another great knight. He made it to the castle, but he always faltered at the end. He had this failure consciousness. And so it just kind of panned out that way. But the 3 individuals that made it there was Percival, and he was the fool. And then you had Lancelot's son, Galahad. Heard of Galahad, right? They considered him the perfect knight, the virgin knight, the one who had not been blemished. He was able to see the Grail, and he represents the pure connection with Source. He represented that purity, that one that has direct communion with the Godhead itself. That is one way in which you experience it, direct communion. The other one who made it was Boaz. He was just your common guy. He was an ordinary man, the ordinary knight. And the way he got there is he just contemplated life. He kind of stood on the outside and watched. What's the significance here? And that's another way in which you get to experience God is through contemplation. It is the great Buddhist practice. Contemplation, you contemplate, you go a little bit deeper. And then the third one, so contemplation of the mind. You've got Galahad, which was communion with the Spirit, which is the spiritual side. And then you had Percival, who was the fool who came from the heart. It was all heart. And the thing with the heart is you have a lot of experiences in life. Percival got thrown out into life and had to spend many years going through the lessons of hard knocks, of love, betrayal, of danger, of anger, and all these things before he became ready enough to go into the castle once again when this old wizard pointed him in the direction, and he just kind of stumbled in there, and that time he remembered to ask the questions. What is this? What is beyond appearance here? And who does it serve? Where is there a higher purpose, a higher understanding here in this experience? And so there are carriers of the chalice. You know, the carriers of the chalice are individuals that are filled with joy. You ever seen those individuals who just walk into a room and it lights up? Like, wow. They smile at you and you just have this sense that everything's going to be okay. You know, they have this connection. They're beautiful, and not necessarily physically beautiful. They may be, but they're beautiful because there's this countenance, there's this aura, there's this shine, there's a glow. Their purpose in life is to be the carrier of this vessel, of this chalice, of this greater way of expression, being able to live this world with joy. And the other ones are the seers, the chalice seers. Those chalice seers, they're the ones who see, but not only do they see, they know. And not only do they know, they speak, they prophesize, because what good is it if you know something, you don't share that? And so as they are willing to courageously share because they're in the moment and they see what is going on, they bring an awareness to the present moment, they're able to see where it's leading, they speak it. And oftentimes those chalice seers are chastised, put down, and attacked for what it is they are proclaiming. You know anybody like that who is bold enough to speak a truth? We see it in our films. Remember Inconvenient Truth? How they just about crucified Gore saying that there's weather change going on? I just pointed a couple out. Remember Bowling for Columbine? You had this guy, Michael Moore, saying, you know, we have this love affair with violence and weapons in our country. It could, you know, expand into something, you know, this prognosis of violence exploding long before Las Vegas ever happened. These people are chastised because they are seers from the light of holding that grail. And what happens is you've got to come into the space of individuals who are bold and are brave. And to realize just because something has been a certain way doesn't mean that is the truth or the way it should be. I'm happy and everything's wonderful. That's good. But don't stay in that same space. I stay in happiness. It changes forms from one expression to another. But you know what? You've got to be willing to move and to grow. Thomas Paine said, he said, just because a thing that is wrong has been accepted for so long, the appearance doesn't mean it's right. That wasn't quite how he said it. I'll paraphrase it instead of butcher him. Anyway, just because you believe something to be the truth for a long time, that appearance doesn't make it the right thing. And sometimes those individuals who are on the quest for the chalice and bringers of the light are able to see things and to speak things, and that is part of our responsibility as we go on the quest and we get these spiritual insights to be able to bring that to our family, to our friends. You are a spiritual leader. You know, Seaside isn't about just the practitioners or just the ministers being the spiritual leaders. It is about you taking the insights from your quest and your revelation out there into this world. This world needs you to be that at this time more than ever. And it is in your willingness to open up and to recognize that, you know what, I'm not going to just stay put any longer with that commonplace. I'm not going to use my common sense when I want an extraordinary life that is filled with extraordinary experiences, and I want fireworks, and I want an exalted kind of life, and I just can't stick around in the commonplace. I've got to be willing to move into that extraordinary realm of extraordinary possibilities and be that place where Spirit downloads its expression. And as I do that, I may hit some spots that I get triggered. You ever been triggered in your life? Yeah, me too. You know, I don't like to fess up to it, but yes, I got my triggers. But I got to tell you, when you have been triggered, that is a wonderful opening and opportunity and a breakthrough for you to delve in a little bit deeper and say, hey, what's going on here? Why am I triggered? Why does anger come up? Why does resentment come up? Why does blame come up? Why does defensiveness come up? Because I'll tell you, those carriers of the chalice are vulnerable. They are open. They are exposed. They are seen. And as you go on that quest, you got to ask yourself, am I willing to be vulnerable, open, exposed, and seen? Or do I need to hold up my Halloween facade? What mask am I wearing today? You know what? I want to see the truth of your being and that light shine. But you're the one who's got to realize, you know what? I may have some tough times. And I may have some losses. A business loss, man, that's just stinks. That's bitter. That's anger. But you don't have to have that. But that's kind of the direction that sometimes will go until you grieve that. But personal loss, that's personal. That brings you to your knees. That begins to get you questioning God. God, how could you forsake me here? That personal loss begins, hey, you took this person from me in my life. I don't know if I can believe in you anymore. What you've done to my body, I just don't know if I can believe. I've prayed and I've helped, I've called out, I've done everything Christian said, and there's only one Spirit, whatever it is, and it hasn't changed. I can't believe in you. I had some parents who lose their child and say, why? Why? I can't answer why. I know grief is important in the process. That ideal, that Camelot is no longer going to be the way you thought it was going to be. But it doesn't mean any less the Spirit is there, not there. I can't say why, but what I do know is that is an opportunity to know that you're never left alone. That Spirit is still there. There is a power and a presence that is ever available to you, but you have to pay attention to what's going on. You got to get beyond and say, okay, what is this? What is this garbage that brought me to my knees, that makes me hate or deny a presence greater than myself? I'm going on the spiritual quest, and this came my way. You don't get to pick your adventures when you're on a quest. Did you know that? I can handle this one, but not that one. Let me sign up for my adventure. No, you don't get to pick an adventure. You left that book behind me with the kids. Did you ever read that book? You pick your own adventure? Obviously not. But it gives you the opportunity where you've been triggered to begin to delve deeper into that well, that chalice well that is filled with that Christ light, that the blood and the life of Spirit itself, that cauldron that the Celtics practiced out of, where they would bring new life from the cauldron, from the smoke and the being. But you got to be willing to bring your awareness to it. Just because you see what's going on doesn't mean you're in judgment. You got weeds in the garden, you got to be aware you got weeds in the garden to pull them out. It's easy to see the weeds in your garden before mine, I can promise you that. It's easy to see what's going on, the challenge in your world before mine, and people say, hey, Christian, you maybe need to adjust this. And you're criticizing me? I'm just like this perfect, cool dude. It's like fantastic kind of guy. What are you talking about? But only as you're able to allow that in and begin to look and see what is this in a different kind of light, and just maybe one of those individuals that brings to you that peace is what is going to assist you to see in a deeper way. When you get called to the quest, you could just be as happy and content and fat as Percival was. Everything was fine, but there's something inside of him that desired to go on a search. Or you could be like Arthur's court, where things were starting to fall apart and murder was going on because you had these guys that were might, where they believed might was right and everything was right. So what do you do with the might? And they had to come up with something. So you can have everything good and decide to go, or you can have everything bad and decide to go. You can be real clear, I'm going for a grail. Or you could be like, personal, I don't know what I'm going for, but something inside me is calling. There's not a right or a wrong. It takes on different shapes, and I just want us to be open to that. And recognize that, I've got to move beyond my position of thinking that it's outside, because what happens is things on the outside catch our attention. I was driving along this week over in Montana, driving down a long highway, and hit a pothole. And I think, you kidding me? this highway, this perfect highway, goes on forever, and there's a pothole here that I pay all these taxes, not only in California, but here in Montana, and they can't even fix a stinking pothole. Why? It's like miles down the road. I am complaining and griping, and in the meantime, I am missing out on the most spectacular yellow and red and greens and the trees and the mountains and the snow-capped peaks that are up there in the crisp air. You guys are telling me it's 100. I'm telling you, no, it's 50. There was a spectacular moment that I was giving away to a stinking pothole. How do we do that in our life? There were a couple of friends, they went to hear these violinists concert, and afterwards one friend, wasn't that magnificent and wonderful? And the second one said, man, after the first song, I lost it. I watched that guy, the violinist, the one with the mustache. He blew his nose in the most disgusting kind of way with a little gook left on his mustache. I don't know why. And after that, I couldn't think about the music anymore. How have we left what's going on in our life control our thinking, whether it is a messy mustache or a beat-up body or a broken relationship or a bad bank account or a pothole in the road? Are you using that to say there is not a higher way of being here, whether you call it love, whether you call it spirit, whether you call it the divine? You've got to go in search of this holy grail that has within it that Christ consciousness, that blood, that light, that life. You're being called. What is this that's going on in my life that wants me to know more? How can I shift my perspective here? Or am I going to continue to give my power away? There was a guy on a family farm, born and raised on this farm. He loved the farm. He's kind of done with the farm. When his parents died, they gave him the farm. He continued to run the farm. And after several years, he thought, you know what, he just needs a better place. So he called in a realtor. And the realtor looked, he drew up a little ad and wanted to run it by this guy who's now the owner, who lived there his whole life. And he said, how does this sound? And he said, farm, many acres, pristine land, clean fences, new equipment, houses and the houses and the barns, pristine, perfect, clean, river, stream running through. And the guy who owned the farm said, wow, this is exactly what I'm looking for. You see, sometimes we need that other perspective in our life. And so what happens in the search for the grail, at the beginning, you're clear. The beginning, I'm going. The end, I got it. It's the middle that is the adventure. It is the middle that all of a sudden you begin to see the white stag, which is the expression of the divine, or that Christ consciousness show up and lead you over the hill where you didn't know where to go. Or the wizard that finally pointed Percival to the castle. Or the maiden who said, hey, you know what? What? You didn't ask the questions? What were you thinking? Or the old crone that told Arthur's court, you guys got a problem going on here. You better go on a quest for something spiritual. Get spirit incorporated into your business or what have you. And so what I want us to get is the messengers can show up in any form in our life that sends us on a journey or on a quest to become more spiritually connected with the divine. And when that quest is over, when you merge, and the revelation is that you are the grail. I and the Spirit are one. The one who sees me sees the Spirit who sent me. It is that great I am that Buddha got when he woke up. And it's like everything has changed. He became the awakened one. Or when Moses, who got the great I am that I am. That changed him from a shepherd to the liberator of the Hebrew people. That I that we're talking about is not the I Christian or the little I me. We're talking about the I that is God, I am that I am. And all that Spirit is, I am. Well, that's a good affirmation. Let's say that together. All that Spirit is, I am. Again, all that Spirit is, I am. Let's touch our heart and say it one more time. All that Spirit is, I am. And when that becomes the truth of your being, you realize that you are the chalice. You are the presence. You are that Spirit. And that you are in this world at this time on a quest, on a journey to bring forth that presence, be that divine place, that divine conduit that brings the heaven to earth from within, out, from above, below. You are that place in which it is, and it happens when you choose to seek and go on that quest, something greater than what is appearing before you. But you got to remember not to be caught up in that hole and say, hey, what is this? This is junk, God. You better show me something different. And who is it serving? Is it going to serve me, Or is it going to serve all of the world in which I walk? I'm willing to be brave. I'm willing to be a seer. I'm willing to be a prognosticator. I'm willing to speak the truth. But God, I got to know, I got to feel, I got to sense that all that you are, I am. Encourage you. Don't back away, but embrace the quest, that call, and that stirring of your soul. And you too will see the aurora borealis. You too will see the healing, the transformation. You too will experience the joy, the peace, the trust, and the security of something greater than that which is appearing in your life. I love you. Enjoy your... Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Rain back to our stage.
Thank you very much.
That is rain. Oh my. I think that would be a good choice to dance. I like it. No more sitting out. And say yes, yes, yes to that quest for sure. All right. Well, hey, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our gifts and our consciousness. And so you'll find on the inside of your program this week's affirmation card. You got that? And I just encourage you to put your name on it. These are the ones from last week. You see everybody's name in your program. Everybody said, count me in last week. I've been praying on this stack every day. And if you don't have a pen, an usher will have a pen when they come around, or hit up the person that's next to you. But I just encourage you to say yes, because it adds a collective consciousness. More people say, you know what, I'm going to just honor that quest that I'm on. It's just so valuable. And so as the baskets come around this week, I just encourage you not only to put in your financial contribution, and thank you, because that's an extension of your consciousness. That's the activity that Spirit is having in your life. You know, what you put out is what comes back to you. That is how it works. It's not why we do it. But also, I'm asking you just deliberately put some consciousness on there. Take a look at that list of names in your program this week, and add your love to those individuals that are just creating this consciousness, this foundation upon which this community builds and grows, and saying, I'm committed to having my life work. I'm committed to experiencing that affluent flow, that abundant flow of God. I'm committed to being a healthy individual that is walking in this world, that is not caught up in my financial concerns. Because if you're caught up in your financial concerns, like how you're going to pay your mortgage, your rent, your car, food, you're not free to go on that quest. You're not free to be able to do your dharma, that for which you've come here to do, to live in that grand way, because your head's filled with the other stuff. So take a swig from that chalice, find that strength and that life, and say, you know what, I'm going for it. God as my partner here. And together as co-creative partners, we have created Seaside. We support Seaside and we sustain it, and it has continued to move through time for decades, because individuals say, you know what, I just remember Spirit first in my life. I'm going to support Spirit's work. And what we find out is Spirit supports its work as your life. So I challenge you to stretch and to grow with that. And with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward. Say thank you to this wonderful crew. Thank you to those who mail in your contributions. It is greatly appreciated, as well as those that remember to practice the auto tithe. That's something to think about on Pledge Sunday on the 12th. To say, hey, that regular systematic support from your world into Seaside is a tremendous blessing for sure. And those of you at home, we know you're there because you're sending in your contributions, and my heart of appreciation goes out, all of us do, because our live stream ministry continues to grow because of the support that is coming from you that are at home watching this across the country, as well as a globe. You're helping us make a difference in consciousness. So I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that this is a moment of givingness where the fullness of God just fills our heart and our souls in these baskets that move by. For they have come from that chalice well. They come from the wellspring of the richness and the fullness in which it was tithed by dropping that chalice in there, that holy grail into that well in which that fullness, that well has run forever since. From that receptive womb comes forth the blessings and the grace and the good and the light and that Christ light and expression. And I know right now that each of us gets to practice at a place of choice, rather than fear, rather than the pothole, rather than looking at that which doesn't work, but to quest in a greater expression of that is yet to be in our life, willing to let go of what was, but to realize that the emergence of that Spirit takes on new forms, but it never goes away. It is omnipresent. As I ask, you know, what is it here that I need to know? What I need to know is that each of us is a channel, and as we open up that channel, the flow of Spirit moves and purges out anything unlike it. And so we allow that flow of the good that we have out, and what we find is greater flow moving and continuing to eliminate the constriction, the fear, the challenge, the disease, the limitation. For truly we live in that abundant and fluent flow of life. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for the realization and the ability to practice what we know is true within our heart. And so it is. Amen. And together let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. guys from Seaside. You're so good. Oh, my. And so as I stand before this bounty, I can feel the outpouring of love. I can feel the outpouring of caring and compassion, and know truly that the blessings of the Spirit moves through each and every one of us. For truly the grace of God is our experience, and with that comes blessings beyond that which we know. We become the recipient because we have chosen to practice Spirit first on our quest, on our search, and begin to leave behind us those questions of what isn't working and begin to open up to what is beyond the realm of appearance. And what lies there is abundance, is health, of well-being, joy, relationships that are thriving, all because I've chosen to be that conduit from that chalice well, that wellspring, that inexhaustible source that has not stopped flowing since it was given the most highest expression that was possible. So grateful to know that this is a moment of confirmation for the fullness and the blessings and the thrivingness of our life through the activity that we have just planted in this moment. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for the opportunity to make the conscious choice to be on this abundant adventure of ever-expanding good in ways that are right and relevant and real. So this has been given in love, it is received in joy, it is handled in good stewardship, and it is put forth back into action into this world, bringing the blessings to all that comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this moment, and so it is. All right. Josh Franklin, one of your board members here, wonderful custodian of the light, of the cauldron, of the abundance. Thank you. And Rain, oh my goodness, you are just fabulous. I'm so grateful you ventured down south this morning. And just always a joy to watch you sing. That's fun. And to hear you and to feel that. And oh my goodness, Danielle, you're just so fabulous and wonderful. To drive in from Ramona to be here and to do this with your excellence and your voice and your power, just a wonderful gift to us all. Part of the family for sure. Your consistency in this time has just been wonderful. Thank you. And giving us sound today is Ed. Giving us the visual is Marv. Great job, guys. Appreciate you. And Jenny and Dennis, spectacular. Oh my goodness, I have fun playing with these props. I don't think you're going to get them back at the end of this season. These are a lot of fun. My office, I just cleaned out, so I got plenty of room for junk. Not junk, for stuff. I just never hung out with a knight in shining armor before. I kind of like that. Anyway. Next Sunday is New Member Sunday, so if you've been thinking of joining Seaside, fill out the form today. Stick around. I'm doing an orientation class as soon as I'm done up here. And next Sunday is New Member Sunday, so we'll welcome you officially. We're all going out to lunch. It'll be our gift to you. And so make sure you fill out that application and talk to Tina on the way out. And also, my gift to you, next week, I'm giving you an extra hour's rest. So don't forget to set your clock whichever direction gives you the extra hour because it is yours. You have earned it. Let's see, what else is going on? Take a look at the program. You'll find out Lori Mack's ordination is on our Pledge Sunday on November 12th. And also, I think there may be a flash mob dancing in there. So if anyone who's interested in doing part of the Billion Woman Rising, I know next they met for the first time this Saturday, and they're looking for more women to join that expression. So this coming Saturday, be part of that. Her information's in there. I can keep talking, but you know what? I just love talking to our kids. So, hey guys, look at those costumes. How fun. So, anybody want to talk to me today? Tell me how it went?
Come on, guys. Stand up. Everybody stand up.
Everybody.
We want to celebrate Kayla. It's her birthday.
Kayla! Woo! Hey, welcome. Congratulations. How fun. So you want to give us a little talk? Oh, just wanted to check. Next year. Give you a year to get ready for that. Anyway, wow. Who are you?
Owlette.
Owlette. You are an owlette.
Everybody your wings.
Woo! All right. Hey, let's say together our wonderful affirmation for our kids, and that is, we see you, we love you, and we support you in your magnificence. All right. Last Sunday of the month is Prayer Wall Sunday, so I want to invite any of our religious science practitioners to stand up here with me at this time as I will pray, and then we'll sing ourselves out, and then come on up and get a prayer. It feels good. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't hurt. It actually feels good. You become that recipient of that greater yet to be because you have opened your heart and soul for that quest of that which is beyond the experience or the appearance that is before you. So I know right now that as I feel the love that is in this house and that is in this place, I know that the blessing that Seaside is that we are community, that we are here for one another, expressing that love, seeing that divine light, knowing that truly each of us is an expression of spirit, of that love, of that caring, of that compassion. And so as I can feel this and I sense this, I know right now that I stand in the revelation of that greater yet to be that is seeking to express itself. I feel my oneness with that one mind and that one spirit. There's not God, mind, and my mind that I'm trying to be part of. There's only one mind, and that is the mind of God, and that mind is perfect, and that is my mind now, and I can feel it, and I sense it, and I speak from this place of going to God for God, not to get anything, anyone, or anything in particular. I just go to God and bask in that presence and that light and that love and that peace and that grace and that glory of spirit, not needing to define it or what it is I need. I just allow myself to unify and to feel and sense that oneness with that order of all things, and knowing that it is in this realization of the truth of my being, that all originating first cause, whatever it may be or whatever you may call it, I know that there is an intelligence that guides the universe, that is the same wisdom that is moving in my body, that is moving in my life, that is moving in my world of affairs, that is moving within my relationships, lifting me ever higher to that greater experience of ease and grace in a world that is filled with caring and compassion and love and wholeness. The body comes in to perfect alignment, not because I tell it to, but because I am expressing that spirit. I have gone on the quest of that which is beyond the appearance of whatever challenge I may be facing. That's something that has called me to that deeper place. I return to the well and the depth of that being that has a richness and a fullness in which the new life just bubbles forth from the cauldron of my soul. I enter into that quest in that sacred place in the realm of consciousness, of spirit, opening up beyond my realm of expectation and becoming the recipient of the divine download of that greater good that is here and now, living a life that is filled with joy. I become once again that carrier of the joy, of that light, of that trust, of that belief. There is something inside that has been revitalized after being triggered and triggered and triggered. There is a renewal that comes. There comes a new place. Maybe the spirit has shifted from the pre-Christian era to a new era, expressing itself, but that life force has always been. And in this comes the transformation, the realization, the deeper understanding, and a peace that passes understanding. A sense of security that knows there is a wellspring that can never be diminished, that flows continuously. And healing happens. Every prayer request brought to our prayer request chest is answered. These practitioners today who pray, they speak the words of truth, for they are that divine conduit. Every prayer brought forth to our prayer request chest is answered. Every name on that commitment affirmation is honored. We send a lot of love to a beloved colleague and dear friend in the San Diego area, the Reverend John Pileski, who made his transition a week ago, that he moves on with those wonderful currents of eternality, has completed his expression in this world, and moves forth sharing that wonderful pastoral consciousness that he is. And for Seaside's, quote, official photographer, Ken Waski, I know right now that he moves on with that ease and that grace, breathing the fullness of the celestial realm, leaving behind a legacy of snapshots and pictures for Seaside to remember at time and space. And that he continues to see and sends forth what his eye embraces. For life continues on, the quest forever expands. There's something within our soul that calls us to say, what is this? And that opens the threshold, it opens the portal for that higher expression to enter in with the new revelation, filling you with the jubilation of the greater expression of Spirit's manifestation as you. Grateful to know that Seaside continues to grow, it continues to thrive, it continues to prosper, it continues to say yes to that vision that is put before us, that quest that we are called to do, leaving behind the fear, the anxiety, the worry, the stress, the concerns, and just opening up to that light that is ever calling us to that hilltop. Seaside is a thriving beacon that continues to refresh its expression of that which is inexhaustible, that is infinite, that is all forms. And so I'm grateful to be part of a community, a family, a tribe of love and caring and compassion. And I let go, trusting this journey together, this quest through time together, believing in the nights of the round table, us together in this community who continue to go out into this world and bring that spiritual light and leadership to all that we do, making this world a better place because you are a carrier of the joy, you are a carrier of seeing. You're an expression of the Spirit. I let go to this love and trust and well-being with gratitude. I surrender this, allow it to be, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was a hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you've got to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. Yes, I'm here in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Sing it out. Let's hear it. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah.
And our affirmation for the week that you put in the basket, that is, I am blessed by following the call of my soul. Together, I am blessed by following the call of my soul. Touch your heart and say it again. I am blessed by following the call of my soul. One more time like you feel it. So, I am blessed by following the call of my soul. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love, I'm living in peace, I'm living my life for what I believe, through joys and through fears. In this world I walk, God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we a song. We are living in grace. 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 Have a great week, everyone.
And come on up. Receive some prayer. We are here. We love to pray. We'll give it to you. The perfect vision.